Today we will see the retrieval argument generation, rack system, detail, architecture, component and functionality. I would like to proud here because today is the AI or generative AI era in the enterprise and in overall society. So what is exactly RAG and where RAG has to be useful? So many people are do not understanding what is exact difference between AI and generative AI. So in this video, I would like to insights in a rack system. Actually, AI is artificial intelligence which has to be the whole system where we can make a automation and creating some robotics things and all this thing. And generative AI is a part of AI, we can say that, and where we can content or generate a new data existing one or existing knowledge resources. So RAG is a part of generative AI. We will see one by one. So introduction to RAG system. The retrieval argument generation RAG is a combined retrieval based and generative AI model. Means there are two things. One is retrieving from existing data source and second one is generating with help of AI models, means LLM models. Why it is useful? Because it has to be give a response like human and in very useful language or compressive way, which has to be uh, helpful for industry solving support staff or generating a new data. It enhances the language model factual grounding by using relevant or external information, retrieving from knowledge base or vector store, and ensure both accuracy and contextual relevance. If we are not a RAG, then what should we have to do? We are retrieving some information like previously with help of Google. We are finding some content and we are putting in Google. Google are giving some relevant document, but in Google there is no RAG system, means existing traditional. I am trying to say that in generative AI model, which give the correct information, whatever we want to retrieve from that resources. So what component associated with the RAG? We will see the six components should be there. One is retrieval, which fetch the most relevant document from a vector database. Second component is generator, a large language model. Generator is nothing but large language model, LLM, or we can take a API of LLM like Copilot, Gemini, OpenAI, or uh, ChatGPT, or some LLM models from Meta, which is has to be freely downloaded, that generate relevant or coherent responses using both the queries and relevant document. The third component is a play important role, which is a vector database. Why vector database is needed here? Why we cannot use another database? Because LLM is working with help of embedding, and for finding a relevant document from the embedding itself, that will be increase the accuracy and giving more accurate result. That's why we are using vector database. Because some of the people asking why we are not using another database. So we cannot use other database, or we can use other database, but that has to be more impacted on accuracy. So that's why the vector database we can use here. Then embedding model convert text into numerical vector. Then frameworks, which has to be make a coordination the process of retrieval and generation. The framework like LangChain, LangGraph, that type of framework we are using, and they refine the output of accuracy and presentation, that a process, or we can develop a model functions for post processing. Now the we will see what is exactly architecture overview. First step is user sent a query to system. The framework encode it and perform semantic search in a vector database. Then a database retrieve original and new content, whatever that is relevant to the query or matches to the query, and contextual data is sent to the LLM for generating new content. Then framework perform post processing and giving final answer to the LLM. This is a simple architecture of RAG where I have mentioned the component like a framework, post processing, then vector database, and LLM. So it is a flow. Suppose a client is sending a question, then framework has to be semantic search in a vector database. In a vector database, already data has to be stored in numerical form. Then conceptual data has to be sent LLM. Framework sent to LLM with help of prompting, and then prompting, after prompting, understanding of prompting or with help of prompting, it will be give to the framework again for post processing, and then final response is the answer of the queries. And these are detailed workflow, stepwise query embedding, which has to be input transfer into embedding. Retrieval, the most relevant content is fetched from the vector database. Argumentation, retrieved text is combined with the queries. Then generation, LLM generate an answer using argument input. Post processing, after processing we should have to be finalize and finishing touch for that answers and response delivery. So what is the advantages and application of this RAG system? It has to be increase the accuracy, which is on base facts, which has to be provided as a knowledge resources. Then reduce say hallucinations, whatever we have given. Then adaptable to various domain, which can be useful for specific domain where actually RAG has to be used. So the application of RAG is used everywhere, but I would like to give some uh, points or domain where we can use, like customer support. In a customer support, we can ask our customer has to about some services, some plans, or some queries regarding whatever he is in mind. It can be shoot the query, and the LLM will be give answer of that query, whatever the document it has to be stored relevant. Means the human is not needed for customer support department. RAG is working as like human, means human is replaced by a RAG here. Then legal research. So what is actually legal research useful there? The in law there are lots of laws and lots of threads among that for specific uh, department or different department is there. But with help of RAG we can fetch relevant laws, relevant penal codes, and relevant information regarding that specific crime and specific uh, orders. Then healthcare insights, same whatever we have to be disease or symptoms, we can finding out the what the home remedies, what is actually um, medicines is useful for the same. So health care industry is also useful for this one. Then knowledge assistant, you have lots of the knowledge document and you want to fetching some relevant one where the this rack system is useful. You can take specific content from among the lots of data, and that will be useful for your answers. So that are useful or applications domain where RAG has to be used. So remember this thing, RAG is a part of generative AI and it has to be lots of demand in a future decade. So Thank you guys for this listening carefully. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel. Thank you.